In 2014, Barcelona's empire crumbled. Champions League elimination, Copa del Rey defeat, second in La Liga, but just 1 year later they conquered all three, lifting a historic treble. The secret? Assembling football's deadliest front three. Messi, Suárez and Neymar, who terrorized Europe's best defenses. But what was the secret sauce? How did this transformation happen? It began in 2013 when Messi carried Barcelona to a record-breaking 100-point La Liga title, scoring an astonishing 60 goals. Their second-best scorer, David Villa, managed just 16. The Argentine magician was shouldering an impossible burden. Despite domestic glory, Barcelona suffered humiliation in Europe, crushed 7-0 on aggregate by Bayern Munich. They lost the Copa del Rey too. The message was clear: relying on one man's brilliance, however extraordinary, spelled disaster. Barcelona knew something had to change. Could salvation come from across the Atlantic? A Brazilian hurricane was brewing. Neymar, just 22, had already smashed records with a mind-bending 203 goals and assists in 230 matches for Santos. This wasn't just a player. This was football's chosen one, the heir to Brazil's throne of magic. On June 3, 2014, Barcelona struck gold, securing this generational talent for €57 million. The second jewel in their crown had arrived. But would two stars burn brighter than one? Or would the weight of expectation crush their dreams? The transition season became a perfect storm of challenges. David Villa, their second scorer, moved to rivals Atletico Madrid. Thiago fled to Munich. Legends Puyol and Xavi battled Father Time himself. The pieces of Barcelona's chessboard were scattered to the winds. Champions League glory? Shattered in the quarter-finals by Atletico Madrid. After Neymar's lifeline in a 1-1 first leg, they suffocated in a 1-0 return defeat. European dreams reduced to ashes. Copa del Rey offered an El Clasico final dripping with destiny. But Real Madrid twisted the knife with a crushing 2-1 victory. Then came La Liga's final day showdown at Camp Nou. Barcelona versus Atletico, separated by just 3 points. What followed wasn't just a game, it was an execution. A 1-1 draw handed Atletico the title and completed the most painful season in recent memory. From kings to nobodies in 12 months, what would it take to reclaim their throne? Neymar's Spanish debut yielded 15 goals in 41 games. Flashes of brilliance, but not yet the inferno they'd hoped for. Even Messi's supernatural powers seemed to wane, his goal tally dropping to just 41 as injuries plagued both stars. Something was missing in Barcelona's formula, that elusive X-factor that transformed contenders into conquerors. But sometimes destiny arrives with teeth marks attached. On July 1, 2014, Barcelona appointed Luis Enrique as manager, a man who didn't just want to restore the club, but reinvent it. He moved with surgical precision, securing 2 new guardians of the net in Bravo and Ter Stegen. Premier League giants Chelsea and Arsenal unwittingly funded Barcelona's revolution, as Fabregas and Sanchez were sold to finance the acquisition of midfield maestro Ivan Rakitic. And the final crucial piece of the puzzle: enter Luis Suárez, football's brilliant, controversial outlaw. Was there a more perfect striker in world football? Fresh from nearly dragging Liverpool to Premier League glory, Suárez had shattered the league's scoring records. 4 seasons, 82 goals in 133 appearances, numbers that spoke of a predator at the peak of his powers. Barcelona secured his signature for £75 million, highway robbery for a player of his caliber. But this bargain came with fine print. Suárez arrived while serving a 4-month football exile. The world's most lethal striker was temporarily shackled. Would Barcelona's gamble on football's beautiful villain pay off? Or had they just signed a time bomb with a deadly right foot? The time bomb Barcelona signed came with quite the backstory. That deadly right foot wouldn't touch a ball in competition because of what preceded it. Suárez's teeth meeting Chiellini's shoulder during Uruguay's World Cup clash with Italy. The 4-month ban that followed made October 26th the date circled in red across Catalonia. Yet behind closed doors, The shackled striker trained, building chemistry that would soon detonate across Europe. As the season dawned, Barcelona's master plan took shape. Enrique's tactical brilliance leading the charge, Neymar now acclimated to Spanish football, Messi still bending reality with every touch, and in the shadows, their beautiful villain counting down the days to redemption. Barcelona weren't just ready to play, they were ready to feast. The new era launched with a clinical 3-0 dismantling of Elche, Messi scoring twice. On September 27th, Granada suffered a 6-goal nightmare. Neymar claiming his first hat-trick, Messi adding 2 more, and Rakitic announcing his arrival. And all this destruction without their final weapon even touching the pitch. What awaited when the trio was complete? Barcelona's early season crackled with electricity. Neymar and Messi were setting defenses ablaze. But one crucial element remained missing: their number 9. October 25th finally arrived, and with it Suárez stepped onto the grand stage of El Clasico for his debut. But the script didn't follow the fairy tale. Despite Neymar drawing first blood, Real Madrid answered with brutal efficiency. Ronaldo, Pepe and Benzema inflicting a sobering 3-1 defeat. The nightmare deepened just 6 days later. A loss to Celta Vigo sent Barcelona tumbling to 4th place. Had the experiment failed before it truly began? Was the trio destined to become football's greatest what-if story? Suárez would later reveal the turning point. A tactical revelation changed everything. Abandoning Messi's false 9 role, Enrique repositioned his chess pieces. Messi shifted right, Neymar claimed the left, and Suárez prowled the center. With this simple yet brilliant adjustment, MSN was truly born. As the calendar turned, Barcelona unleashed an 11-game winning streak that left Spain trembling. But could 3 superstars, 3 egos, truly share one spotlight? Or would their flame burn twice as bright, but half as long? Sharing the spotlight? The answer came with devastating clarity. February 21st brought a stumble against Malaga, but what followed was no mere recovery. It was an announcement. Manchester City, England's champions, fell 3-1 on aggregate in the Champions League knockout round. Could anyone stop this Barcelona machine now that it had found its rhythm? 4 days later, Real Madrid learned what happens when you face a trio finding their ultimate form. A 2-1 El Clasico victory catapulted Barcelona 4 points clear at the top. Though a draw against Sevilla on April 11th narrowed their lead to 2 points, something magical was brewing in Catalonia. Barcelona remained alive in every competition, the impossible treble suddenly within reach. PSG became the next victim, dismantled 5-1 on aggregate, as Suárez struck twice and Neymar 3 times across 2 matches. The destruction continued. Getafe hammered 6-0 with Messi and Suárez each bagging braces and Neymar adding another. Then an 8-0 annihilation followed, featuring a Suárez hat-trick, Messi brace and Neymar goal. Was this just dominance? Or were we witnessing football evolution? May 6th delivered the defining moment. Against Bayern Munich, the very team that had humiliated them 2 years prior, Barcelona authored their redemption. Neymar scored once while Messi delivered twice, his second goal immortalizing Jerome Boateng as he left the defender sprawled before chipping the keeper. A 3-2 second leg loss couldn't prevent their march to the final, but with glory within touching distance, a question loomed. Would the final act of this remarkable season deliver the culmination of their destiny, or crush their dreams at the final obstacle? The final obstacles fell one by one, each trophy a stepping stone toward immortality. First came La Liga, a 1-0 triumph over Atletico Madrid. The very team that had snatched the title a year before delivered their first crown. Could they maintain this momentum? The Copa del Rey followed. In a 3-1 victory over Atletico Bilbao, Messi produced another moment of sorcery. Starting from halfway, weaving through defenders like ghosts, before burying the ball in the bottom corner. Not just a goal, but a statement. With 2 trophies secured, only Juventus stood between Barcelona and eternity. The stage. Berlin. The prize, not just a Champions League, but a place in football's pantheon. Goals from Rakitic, Suárez and Neymar sealed a 3-1 victory and completed the impossible. The treble was theirs. Barcelona became the first club to claim 2 trebles. The architects? 3 men who rewrote attacking football. Suárez with 25 goals in 43 games, Neymar with 39 in 51, and Messi with 58 in 57. Together, 122 goals, a record-breaking trio. Yet somehow, this was just the beginning. Could they possibly exceed this near-perfect season? The answer would astonish even their most devoted believers. As the 2015/16 season dawned, Barcelona's dynasty faced its first test. The squad remained largely intact, with only the legendary Xavi bidding farewell. The trio picked up where they left off, unstoppable and hungry for more. But football rarely follows a perfect script. Late September brought what would have been disaster 2 years earlier. Messi sidelined for 6 weeks with a knee injury. Could Barcelona survive without their talisman? Neymar and Suárez didn't just maintain the standard, they elevated it. November 21st delivered the ultimate statement. El Clásico became El Massacre as Barcelona dismantled Real Madrid 4-0 on their own turf. Suárez struck twice, with Neymar and Iniesta adding goals that silenced the Bernabeu. This wasn't just victory, it was domination. As matches passed, Suárez transformed from deadly striker to unstoppable force, staking his claim as the world's finest number 9. January brought Messi his 5th Ballon d'Or, but individual awards paled compared to collective achievement. On March 3rd, a 5-man demolition of Rayo Vallecano made history. 35 games unbeaten, shattering Real Madrid's 27-year-old record. Was there any ceiling to what this team could accomplish? Or would the weight of history eventually bring them back to earth? The weight of history proved crushing, even for the mightiest. MSN continued their sprint, dispatching Arsenal in Champions League as treble whispers grew louder. Could lightning strike twice? April answered brutally. An El Clásico defeat shattered their 39-game unbeaten run. Then Atletico Madrid, their kryptonite, eliminated them from Champions League 3-2 on aggregate. 3 consecutive La Liga losses followed. In just 3 weeks, Barcelona's invincible aura crumbled. Treble dreams vanished. But champions aren't defined by falls, they're measured by how they rise. On April 20th, Suárez unleashed a performance for the ages. 4 goals and 3 assists in an 8-0 demolition that ended the nightmare. The revival continued 3 days later with 4 more Suárez goals in a 6-0 thrashing of Sporting Gijón. The Uruguayan wasn't just playing, he was waging war against defeat. The season's final day arrived with everything at stake. Barcelona needed victory for the title, and Suárez delivered with a championship-clinching hat-trick. 8 days later, Sevilla fell 2-0 in the Copa del Rey final. Not a treble, but a double. Proof that even in a disappointing season, this Barcelona team remained extraordinary. But as one campaign ended, a question lingered. Was this MSN's peak? Or could their 3rd season together reach even greater heights? Higher heights? MSN answered with a resounding yes. Somehow, impossibly, they improved on perfection. 130 goals and 77 assists across 128 matches. The unstoppable Suárez claimed center stage, with a historic 59 goals and 26 assists, capturing the European Golden Boot and becoming the first player ever to lead La Liga in both scoring and assists. But dynasties never exist unchallenged. A storm was brewing in Madrid. Under new manager Zinedine Zidane, Real Madrid had reclaimed European glory, lifting the Champions League in his debut season. The battle lines were drawn. Could MSN's brilliance withstand this resurgent Spanish superpower? Would Barcelona's reign continue, or was their dominance approaching its final chapter? The 2016-17 campaign began with significant change. Dani Alves departing after 8 legendary seasons. Meanwhile, Neymar signed what appeared to be his commitment to the cause, a 5-year contract extension through 2021. Yet beneath the surface, whispers of discontent were beginning to stir within the Brazilian star. Was he growing restless in Messi's shadow? For now, such concerns remained hidden behind explosive performances. Barcelona ignited La Liga with a 6-2 demolition of Betis, Suárez with a hat-trick, Messi with a brace. Their Champions League campaign launched with equal ferocity, Celtic suffering a 7-0 humiliation as Messi claimed 3 goals and Neymar orchestrated 4 assists. By December, Suárez had followed Neymar's lead, extending his contract to 2021. MSN appeared set to terrorize Europe for years to come. The message was clear. This trio was here to stay, a nightmare with no end in sight for their rivals. But could anything truly last forever in the volatile world of football? The 2016/17 campaign would test the very limits of possibility. By season standards, Barcelona seemed merely mortal until the Champions League thrust them into legend. The round of 16 against PSG began with catastrophe, a 4-0 demolition in Paris that appeared to extinguish all hope. But at Camp Nou, the impossible awakened. Suárez struck early. Kurzawa's own goal made it 2-0 by half-time. Hope, that dangerous thing, began to flicker. Messi's penalty after the break fanned the flames. Could they actually do this? Cavani's away goal seemed to deliver the final blow. 3 goals needed with just minutes remaining? Mathematics said no. Faith said maybe. The 88th minute, Neymar curled home a free kick. The 91st, Neymar converted from the penalty spot. Then, with sequence evaporating, the Brazilian maestro floated a desperate ball into the box where Sergi Roberto stretched to touch it home. 6-1. Remontada complete. A comeback so miraculous that Neymar marked it with ink on his skin. 1% chance, 99% faith. Riding this euphoric wave, Barcelona felt invincible again. But football's cruelty was just beginning. Luis Enrique announced his impending departure. The architect of their success was leaving. Juventus coldly ended their European dreams in the quarter-finals. Even the league title slipped into Real Madrid's grasp. A glimmer of hope emerged with a dramatic 3-2 El Clasico victory on April 23rd. Could they still claim a 3rd consecutive La Liga crown? Or was this the final brilliant flash before the light faded on football's greatest attacking trio? Could they claim a 3rd consecutive title? May 14th offered a flicker of hope as Barcelona crushed Las Palmas 4-1, with Neymar unleashing a hat-trick that forced the title race to the final day. But the sands of time were running against them. Despite winning their closer, Barcelona watched helplessly as Real Madrid completed their power shift, claiming both La Liga and a 2nd straight Champions League. The golden era was fading to twilight. On May 27th, Barcelona salvaged some pride with a 3-1 Copa del Rey triumph over Alaves, their 3rd consecutive in the competition, but the trajectory was unmistakable, from treble to double to just a single cup. The empire wasn't just cracking, it was crumbling. Statistically, MSN remained extraordinary. 111 combined goals, with Messi contributing 54, Suárez 37, and Neymar 20. Yet numbers told only part of the story. The Brazilian was evolving into more of a creator, but a deeper transformation was occurring within him. In Messi's shadow, could Neymar ever truly shine? Despite his fresh 5-year commitment, ambition began to overshadow loyalty. The dream of becoming world's best, of claiming the Ballon d'Or, demanded center stage, something Barcelona could never offer while Messi reigned. On August 3, 2017, the unthinkable happened. PSG shattered the world transfer record, luring Neymar to Paris with promises of becoming their centerpiece, their savior, their king. The greatest attacking trio in football history was suddenly, shockingly over. For Neymar, the grass proved less green than imagined. In Paris, he remained brilliant but never reached the transcendent heights he sought. The shadow he fled was replaced by one of his own making, the ghost of what could have been if the trio stayed intact. What greatness had football lost to ambition? Barcelona's aftermath proved painfully predictable. The Neymar windfall was blown on Coutinho and Dembele, investments that returned little but disappointment. Suárez remained until 2020, when Barcelona inexplicably pushed him aside, only to watch him fire Atletico Madrid to a title. Messi stayed until 2021 before joining Neymar in Paris, but their reunion lacked the magic of their Barcelona days. Now Neymar plays in Brazil while Messi and Suárez share their sunset in Miami. Their bodies have slowed, but their legend only grows. For 3 extraordinary years, they redefined football's possibilities. 371 combined goals, numerous trophies, and moments of breathtaking brilliance. As Barcelona faded into mediocrity, those 3 seasons shine even brighter. What made MSN special? Was it just individual talent? Or something deeper, a perfect alignment that football might never witness again? MSN, a brilliant supernova that burned too bright to last, too beautiful to forget. Want to see how a rejected kid became Barcelona's leader? Subscribe now and check out the video on screen. I promise it's worth your time.